So believe it or not, I've actually already made a video on this first one here. But the thing is, you guys haven't seen it yet because I didn't publish it. Actually, I recorded it about 5 months ago, but it actually wasn't related to an unboxing or anything like that. So you guys don't know about this until now. So I found out about maybe a year ago, about this point, that Funko, Funko Pops, those little 2.5, 3 inch non-posable vinyl figures. They got really big heads, black eyes, usually big, big black eyes and little squat bodies. They're chibi, SD stuff like that. Funkos. Funko Pops is what they're called. Anyways, I found out that Funko headquarters is located less than half an hour from where I live in downtown Everett, Washington. Okay, whatever. I mean, I don't collect Funko Pops. I don't get. Do you see any Funko Pops? Have you ever seen me mention Funko? I might. Okay, no, I take it back. I've mentioned Funko in the past, but I've like never. I don't have any Funko Pops or anything like that. I don't care. And I mean, we've all seen them in stores plenty of times. I mean, we geeks and nerds, we know about Funko Pops, but it's just you either like them or you don't. So whatever. And I'm not gonna throw trash at them. I've got no beef against it. It's just it's a collectible. It's like okay, it's cute whatsoever. But anyways, in December 2019, which is about 5 months ago at this point, a video game that I've been playing, which you may have heard me mention a couple of times, called Guild Wars 2, released a small lineup of characters within the Funko Pop line, and one of those, spoiler alert, if you haven't completed Heart of Thorns, is Baby Aurene, which is just the most adorable thing ever. Oh my god. And she looks pretty much like this in the game. Yeah, her head, yeah, she's still a little SD, like her head is a bit too big at this point, but for the most part, yeah, this is pretty amazing. The other two characters are pre-Revenant Ritlock Brimstone, and who was the other one? Oh, Palawa Joko. So if you've never played Guild Wars 2, you have no idea who these characters are. But anyways, oh, so cool. And what's really awesome is that Funko worked out an arrangement with Guild Wars 2, or rather with ArenaNet, the publisher for Guild Wars 2. If you purchase the physical Funko Pop figure, there's a code inside of the box, and if you input the code into the game Guild Wars 2, you get the miniature version of this that can follow your character, your on-screen character around. So not only will you have a physical version of the character that looks just like this, but you'll also have a digital version that looks almost identical to this and actually moves on its own within the game. Oh, Baby Aurene is so adorable. Oh. And for the record, no, I do not want Joko, and no, I do not want Redlock. So this is, I mean, of the three that they've produced so far, and this is only 5 months ago. I know nothing about Funko Pops. Like this is my first one ever. So like I don't know the trends. I don't know the marketing. I don't know. Don't ask me. I have no idea. Just this is one I wanted. It's like, okay, I did this to support the cause, and I also love Baby Aurene, so that's why I got this figure. So yeah, and actually her eyes are actually pretty close to that, except they're usually yellow, and her irises are usually not quite that big. She's adorable. She's a baby. She's an actual baby. She's a hatchling at this stage in her life. So, but yeah, she's absolutely adorable, and I love her. Mwah. This was my first and thus far only Funko Pop. Um, However, I did not get that from Funko headquarters in downtown Everett, Washington. I actually got that from a store in Alderwood Mall, which is in Linwood, Washington, which is about 15, 20 minutes south of Everett. So I got that from a store there. But anyways, I went to the Funko HQ store, and oh my God, folks! And I actually have a video where I talk about this in a little more detail, and I'll link it down there. Where I've actually have one photograph that's proof that I actually went there before the pandemic and all that stuff. that I went there, and it's like walking into a two-story candy store. They go all out. It's pretty doggone ridiculous, and it's nothing but Funko product because it's fun. It's Funko headquarters. It's their executive, or not executive. It's the business end of things of the it's not a distribution center. It's not one of the common stores. It's the headquarters for the business side of things. That's what it is. But downstairs, or I'm sorry, at street level, because the business is all upstairs, but the lower two levels is a giant toy store dedicated to nothing but Funko. So it was like walking through a giant candy store. Like if you can imagine, if you go to your local shopping mall and you've been to a Disney store, this is like twice the size of that. But it's better decorated and it's not as in your face. It's not quite as in your face. So, yeah, baby Irene, she's been sitting up there for almost 6 months now, and I love it. It's great. And while I was there, I just kind of, yeah, okay. There's neat stuff to see. Oh, they've got figures of that, and I actually do really want to get a Chibi Godzilla at this point, just because I stood right next to the 10-foot version. I kind of need one at this point. So like, if you guys can tell me where to get them, because they don't make them anymore. I don't think so. If you guys can tell me where to get, Chibi Godzillas, that'd be great. But anyways, I saw a couple of other figures like, yeah, okay, if I've got a little money to spend, because they're actually really cheap. They're not even $10. That baby Irene figure, I think she's like $7 or $8, something like that. They're real cheap, but they're very well painted. Baby Irene, very very well painted. Of course, she is already a detailed character model. So, in my opinion, yeah, they did that justice. Absolutely. No moving parts though. Most Funko Pops they don't have movable parts. They're once they're in there, they're in there. So if it moves, that means something is broken. So, anyways, I saw a couple of other figures. Oh, okay, I like that. And I was browsing through their catalog, just by chance, just to see what's happening with whatever. And I found a couple more that like, okay, all right, yeah, all right, you convinced me. You conned me out of it. I'll get them. So unfortunately, I tried to. It's a weird thing with Funko is that you can go to their online store, but it's not really their store. You can't buy directly from the manufacturer. Instead, what you end up doing is they redirect you to their associate, or there's association links that send you to online stores, and that's where you buy the Funko figures from. So you're not actually buying off of Funko. You will never, as I understand it, just from the figures that I've got sitting here, I didn't purchase any of these directly from Funko. Instead, it linked me to another site, and then that's where I bought it. So it's officially sanctioned and officially licensed. Just you're not buying directly off of Funko.com or whatever it is. So be aware. So these actually came from a bunch of different locations, but they were all officially licensed and stuff like that. So oh, don't get stuck on there. So this is the average size of a Funko Pop box. Like I said, you've all seen this before. This one, actually, all of them. Uh, you guys don't know me. My reputation does not ride on these, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of anxious to see what all your reactions are going to be like when you find out what I've got here. And please do, tell me what you think of this. Um, I think I'll put it simply. If it hadn't been for these, I would be a completely different person. This comes from my childhood. So like if it hadn't been for this, I would not be the person that I am today. That's how crucial, that's how cornerstone this is to my life. Okay, this is important. Now, granted, I wouldn't quite have done it this way, but still, this is important. You want to know how AV Unit 4A ticks? Here's a good example of it. I don't think I've ever really addressed it directly, but I am, in fact, still to this day, a very big fan of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Now, online, this is well known. Offline, it's an entirely different story. How long has this one been out? Let's see. There should be a date on it somewhere. I'm looking for a date. I do not see a date. I don't know. I'm guessing this is like 2, 3 years old or something like that. So Disney's The Little Mermaid. I I saw that. Oh wow, they even have a little. There's even a little marker down here on the bottom, which is actually the reason why I got this. It says 30th anniversary. This film is 30 years old as of December 2019 because it came out in theaters. I saw it in theaters in December 1989. I was 7 years old, and I was. I mean, back at that time, boys and girls watching Little Mermaid. No one cares. Disney princesses, like, it didn't matter. There wasn't the stigma at the time of uh, there wasn't the stigma at the time of, princesses are for girls only, and if you're a boy, then you're kind of a pervert for liking a Disney princess. You're a boy and you like girls. There was none of that. Wow, this is really top heavy, as Funko Pops usually are, I should point out. Um, but anyways, boy, that color's really bleached out on my screen. Believe me, it actually is. What is it? The colors. I don't know how to color change with the program. But anyways, uh, simply put, I have been an aerial holic since I was 7 years old, and I saw The Little Mermaid in theaters in 1989. A little bit of shake there. Okay. I've never had an aerial figure. I would like to get another aerial figure that's like properly proportioned and stuff like that. But this'll do for now. This is fine. I kind of wish that she was, sitting on the ground, sitting on her tail or something like that. But like, yeah, I can live with this. And she's got her little pouch right there, whatever it is. So yeah, she's got that giant cowlick. It's awesome. Her hair is freaking huge. Good grief. I kind of wish that she would. I wish their head would turn, but just the way it's constructed, there's no way her head would be able to turn, unless it can. No, it cannot. And it's all made of vinyl. Like the figure is made of vinyl, but okay, the figure is made of vinyl, but the display stand, which does not separate, this is a single piece. So if it comes in more than one piece, it's broken. Um, but the display stand is ABS. So let's see, display stand, which you can see through. So after 30 years and 5 months, I finally have an aerial figure. It's strange. Most, though not all, Funko Pops, they don't have a mouth, so it's strange. Like she doesn't have a mouth. What's going on? So, anyways, yeah, not quite the way and believe it or not, I don't have any. I had the McDonald's, 2.5 inch aerial and a couple of the other McDonald's Happy Meal toys and stuff like that. But I've never had a proper, fixed pose or even posable figure of Ariel. So, yeah, it's good to have this. It's good to have this. How well does this balance? Oh, it bounces very well. No need to worry about her tipping over. Not even because her hair goes off to the one side. So, no, actually, it'll hold very well. She's not going to tip over. And nope, that display stand is permanently in there. There's no way that's coming out of there. So, yay, Ariel. Woohoo! Now, Funko doesn't make just the pops. The pops are their standard figures, or the standard whatever it is, but they come in various sizes, and they're also not just fixed pose. They actually were like 3 or 4 different versions of Ariel, but they were like keychain, blah blah blah. They were kind of other things like that, or I don't know all the Funko lines, but like this is the only one where it was like she was properly, looked like she did in the movie. So of course, if you get one, you have to get the other. But I am not talking about Ariel in her human form. I had The Little Mermaid memorized off of the VHS tape by the time I was 8 years old, because it took about 6 months for the VHS tape to come out. Um, but anyways, I had that movie memorized by the time I was 8 years old, almost word for word. There's a couple of lyrics that escaped me, and I was like, or a couple of words like, what's going on? But TLM was a big part of my youth, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and regardless of which Disney movie came out next, Aladdin, Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, regardless of which one came out next, I was always coming back to Little Mermaid. It did not matter which one. I always came back to that. And then, over time, as all kids do, you kind of grow out of it, and like, oh yeah, nostalgia and things like that. But Disney's Little Mermaid never left me. It's been with me my entire life. The weird thing about it, though, well, I shouldn't really say weird, is that as a ew packing peanuts, why? The weird thing about it is that even when I should have done this before I stopped recording, but even when I was 7 or 8 years old, um, I didn't. When she becomes human in the movie, there was a piece of my brain that just kind of disconnected. Like I didn't care. Like okay, she's human, whatever. It's when she had her tail. It's when she was a mermaid. That's when Ariel was interesting. When she's human, don't care. Whatever. I don't care because she's just another human, and we see those all the time. What made Ariel special, what made her unique, what still makes her unique to me at least, is not is her attitude and her personality certainly, but it's that she was a mermaid. That was the important thing. So when I say that I'm an Arielholic, it's like only when she's got a tail. If she's got legs, I'm out. I don't care. And that was back in '89 and 1990 when the VHS came out. Like there was, I can actually remember there were times when she gets transformed by the Sea Witch, and then I would just hit fast forward on the movie on the VHS tape. I'd fast forward, fast forward, fast forward until the scene where Prince Eric is about to marry Vanessa. That's her name, by the way, which they don't say in the movie. But when she married, or when Eric is about to marry Vanessa, I would fast forward to about there, and then I just watched the rest of the movie for there. There were many times when I was young when I would do that. I don't care about Ariel when she's human. I don't care, and that still holds true to this day. Do we have what we have? One, yes. What is this? Oh, somebody threw in a business card. Woo! I can feel that in the ground. He's low. Yikes. He's hauling ass, too. May God bless those who made it, those who use it, and those who need it. Anyways, I got this one from enightmedia.com. So that's where I got this next figure from. The weird thing about it, though, is even though, oh God, packing peanuts. Why? I hate packing peanuts. I don't care if they're environmentally friendly or not. Supposedly you can eat a packing peanut, but I'm not convinced. This next one, however, took me a bit longer. Because, like, this is a character that I didn't like when I was young. And I had to kind of grow into the character over time. And considering The Little Mermaid was one of my favorite childhood movies, it's kind of strange for me to put it. It's strange to say that of all the things that I liked about the movie, this is one that I didn't like about the movie, and that is Ursula the Sea Witch, which is packaged a little differently for some strange reason. Okay. So anyways, yep. So, just because you're a fan of one doesn't necessarily mean you're a fan of the other. So, whatever. Um, I've come to appreciate Ursula a bit more over the decades. It actually took time. Like when I was little, like I wasn't scared, like run out of the room scared, but like those tentacles, they just kind of get in kind of creepy places, and she's the villain. And why would you like her? How, why do my parents like her? So that's the case when you're little, you know, but not necessarily the case when you're an adult. You can appreciate her a bit more. So it took time for me to. And by the way, let's see. There's the mermaid version. There's Ariel version. She's in her. Yeah, she's in her that blue sparkling dress she has at the end of the movie. Which, so yeah, I mean there's an alternate version of her, but like, I don't care. And I'm not gonna be getting any of the others either. Maybe Scuttle. No. It took a long time for me to grow up enough to appreciate Ursula the Sea Witch. And when I finally did, this box is not going to survive today. At least not the outer plastic packaging, which neither Aureen nor Ariel had. This is strange to me. But anyways, it wasn't until many years later where I came to appreciate Ursula, not just her role, but just her as a character. And now it's gotten to the point where not only am I a ooh, not only am I a fan of Ursula, but I consider her to be one of the best Disney characters ever written, and I mean ever. Yeah, it also helps that I've been an Arielholic and I've been a fan of Little Mermaid since 1989. But that said, she's a pretty goddamn awesome character. And much like with Ariel, I've had no figures of Ursula. And kind of the difficult thing about it is, well, the Disney Princesses line is not really conducive towards adult males, actually towards males at all. So it's kind of difficult for an adult male to be purchasing a female character from a female-led Disney movie. It's kind of like, what are you thinking, dude? You're a pervert, you know? Ooh, she's naked, you know? No, I don't care. Didn't hurt me. And look where I am today. Oh wow. Wait a minute. One, two, three, four. They screwed up. No, how do you do that, Funko? How? Oh my gosh, they screwed that up. They screwed up on one of the. To be fair, to be okay. So to be fair, or okay, so I'm just gonna do the wraparound. And yes, she has Flotsam and Jetsam on either arm. I've already mentioned previously that I'm a Merphile already. It's like I'm a Merphile on top of being an Arielholic, you know, that kind of thing. So I just find it awesome that she's got the. I mean, still to this day, I still love that she's got the tail, or she has the dress cut tail, which is great. Which is basically if you've got a mermaid and her scales go all the way up over the top of her breasts, and then they wrap around, and then you can see kind of like her upper shoulder blades or whatever it is. That's called the dress cut because it's like a ballroom gown. It's like a dress. So Ursula has the dress cut because the skin, her skin, actually drops down to her lower back, but then it covers her breasts. So it's still awesome to see she has the dress cut. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's funny. Flotsam and Jetsam, they don't have irises, so it's actually consistent with the Funko Pop styling. They don't have irises any more than she does, right? Right, yeah. And she's got was it the eyeliner or whatever it is? That's great. Disclaimer: I am not a chubby chaser, but I make an exception for Ursula the Sea Witch. That's 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 the exception to the rule. That's the exception. But anyways, They made kind of a goof. Oh wait, where's the? Oh, they did keep it. Okay, all right. Because like her hair is mostly white, and then there's like a streak of gray going up on either side. So they kept that. You can see there's a streak of gray right there. So they got that part right. I mean they've got everything right here. It's all done correctly. And also ooh, uh-oh. Oh, her head can turn side to side. I can live with this. I don't think it's supposed to. And her chin and her cheek both, or the back, and her her hair and her chin bump up against. I can't remember which one's which. Bumps up against one of the eels on her right shoulder. So that does kind of limit. But the fact that her head can even turn is surprising. I think they actually did design it to turn. Just a few minutes ago, I said if it turns, something's broken. So either it's broken or they deliberately designed her head to be able to turn. Which either way, I can live with that. That's fine. I'm not going to complain. But anyways, so they've got the detailing of her tentacles, and they've got all the suckers on there, anyways. But there's actually a small trivial bit that most people, it just goes right over the head. They don't even notice it. Even though she's a Caecilia and she was inspired by mixing, she's a hybrid of a human and an octopus. If you go back and watch the 1989 movie and you watch carefully, you will see that in the movie, despite being inspired by an octopus, she only has 6 tentacles. You know how Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Bugs Bunny, Roger Rabbit, yeah, oh yeah, Roger Rabbit too, Bugs Bunny, and all those cartoon characters from the Silver Age of cartoons or whatever it is, they all have four, or I'm sorry, they have 3 fingers and they have a thumb. Well, the reason why you do that is because, well, it's actually difficult to draw hands, regardless of how detailed they are. Getting the proportions and doing it correctly, I've never tried, so I'm not gonna. It's actually difficult to draw a hand, and to put the knuckles in the right place to have them curl properly. So if you just spare yourself a little bit of trouble and you get rid of one of the fingers, you can have a character. The Simpsons. The Simpsons, which are still on the air 30 years later, they only have 3 fingers and a thumb. They do not have 4 fingers. But anyways, there's this thing that cartoonists and comic book artists and animation artists, and even in some movies, they pull this little trick where if they get rid of the little finger, kind of your mind's eye doesn't really pick up on it. Now, there's jokes and there's memes and all kinds of gags in regards to characters only four, or I'm sorry, with only 3 fingers. That exists, and I'm not going to say anything about it. But what's interesting is that unless you're looking for it, you don't notice it. Not only is it easier to draw a hand with 3 fingers and a thumb, but it's also less time consuming, and that means it costs less money to make a character with 3 fingers and a thumb. Ow. I sprained my wrist about a week ago and I just stressed it. Ouch. So, anyways, why do I bring this up? Well, it's because, and there's no set definition for whether a Caecilia, how many tentacles a Caecilia should have. But if you go back and watch The Little Mermaid from 1989, you will notice that Ursula has only 6 tentacles, not 8. And the reason they did it is because, my God, do you know how difficult it is to keep track of those things? I mean, don't get me wrong, 2D animation artists are already gods of artistry because they have to do what it is that they do. But now you're telling them they're not just drawing fingers and hair, but now they're drawing tentacles. So they're drawing an inhumane or an inhuman aspect to this very complex character. It's no wonder she was so simple in her lower body, whatever. So, anyways, in the 1989 movie, she only has 6 tentacles. How weird is that? I bet you didn't notice that until I told you about it. Go ahead, go back and watch any clip of her that you like. Any clip that features her tentacles, that features all of her tentacles on screen at the same time. Go watch, and you will see, count them. Take the time to count. She only has 6 tentacles. It's because it was cheaper and it was faster to animate her back in 1988 and 89 with only 6 tentacles because you're not going to notice. It's like, okay, she has tentacles. And really, the excuse is that, well, her 2 human arms kind of make up the difference. But for whatever reason, she has, let's see, one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tentacles on the Funko Pop figure. Ooh, that's a heck of an oversight. Now, granted, again, you're never gonna notice it unless somebody points it out, or you've been a fan of the Little Mermaid since 1989. So, yeah, craftsmanship is great. They've got all the curves and all the folds and all the everything just right. She's got her necklace painted on. I should also point out on both of these figures, there's a little bit of Ariel shell, seashell top where the purple paint doesn't quite fit where it belongs, and that's probably just a limitation of the individual person who painted these, the factory worker painted these. But um, for the most part, the moldings and the paint applications are just fine. And I would say the same thing of Ursula. What is that? I don't know what that is. I think the artist or some person. Oh, oh, maybe it was originally molded in black, and then they were painted over. That's possible. But yeah, she's got 8 tentacles for some reason. Like, I'm going to be gushing a little too much about Ursula in particular, just how amazing her character design is. It's, oh, love it. That's awesome. Pat the Buddha's belly. Now, as I mentioned earlier, offline, most people don't know that I'm such a huge fan of Little Mermaid. I guess the enjoyment kind of fades and wanes over time, whatever, or waxes and wanes over time. So like sometimes I can pay attention to it for significant amounts of time. Other time it's just kind of in the back of my head. It's like, you know, believe it or not, I don't think I've ever watched The Little Mermaid all the way through since 2000 or 2001. So it's been 20 years since I've actually watched the movie all the way through. But the weird thing about it is I don't need to watch it because I've got it going through my head so much. I don't need to watch it because I've got almost every frame memorized. I've got almost every word memorized, and that's been since I was 8 years old. So, by the time I was 19 years old, I think I was 19 years old the last time I watched Little Mermaid all the way through. And that was the turn of the century, you know. Wow, that dates me. So I don't, Ava, when's the last time you watched this movie if you like it so much? Well, it might have been in 2000. What? So, yeah. Anyways, so I was about to say that because these Funko figures, the Funko Pops are small. I'm like, okay, whatever. I can kind of quietly set them in a corner, and people will just walk right past them and won't even notice it. Considering what my room is filled with, it'd be very easy to just walk right past them and not notice. This next one, however, like I might be able to get away with it if it was just those two. And if I like space them kind of like Easter eggs, like literal Easter eggs, just kind of hide them in different areas and you just walk right past them and don't notice. This next one, however, is gonna put to rest any notion of like, oh, where did you get that from, Ava? I'm probably gonna pass it off as like, oh yeah, someone sent it to me as a gag gift. So I can kind of like, yeah. It was a gag gift from Josh B. Sent it to me. He wants me to review it. I'll get rid of it soon. Don't worry about it. Because I don't want people to think that I'm a pervert and I like Disney princesses. What's wrong with you, Ava? That kind of thing. Um, it's one of those things that, like, once people find out, they'll never let you live it down. It's one of those things. So, anyways, this net. So, like, I might be able to hide it with those two, but with this, it's gonna be blatantly obvious because, like, okay, I'm actually gonna have to put this on the shelf somewhere. I'm not gonna hide this thing because I want it to be part of my collection. Should I make a part of your world reference? Or is it enough that I mentioned it? Honestly, I'm surprised how big this box is. So, the store that I purchased Baby Aureen from is where I originally saw this. But I didn't purchase it. I didn't purchase any of these at the same store because, well, pandemic, quarantine, all that stuff. So anyways, I bought this from a different store. But I did have the opportunity to see this in the store where I purchased Aureen. Wow. Okay, good. At least I got the right one. There was a bit of concern. I was like, there's two different versions of this. There's one that's like all sparkly and stuff, and then there's the regular one. I tried to get the regular version. I hope this isn't the sparkly version because it's not what I want. I don't want this thing staring me in the face every time I go to bed. God, this is huge. Holy shit. So this is the 10-inch Queen Ursula figure. Although this is a lot bigger. Is this 10 inches? This is huge. Oh my god, oh god, what I've gotten myself into. Oh god, what have I done? I want to say this is a relatively recent figure. Like the other two have been like within the last year or two, but like this came out like 6 months ago or something like that. Oh my god, what have I done? Oh, I wonder if she'll still have 8 tentacles, like if the regular pop version does. So, anyways, once in a while, Funko will make a larger version of their figures, and well, I suppose it's kind of appropriate to have Queen Ursula, the giant version. Although they do have a pop version, it's like the same size as those, but it's not the same figure. That's slightly remolded. No, it's actually fully complete different figure. But yeah, I got the 10-inch version, and oh, buyer's regret. Oh boy, what have I done? Okay, I'm kind of committed at this point. Which is very much not what happened in the original Hans Christian Andersen uh, fairy tale from like the 16. Was it the 16 or 1500s? This like the Sea Witch was such a minor character, so insignificant. Well, significant, but such a small role that like Disney's like, come on, let's play around with it, see what we can do with it. So that's what they were thinking. Although how they were able to predate Rita Repulsa by like 4 years. Think about it. TLM came out 4 years before Power Rangers did. Is that right? No. Yeah, because Power Rangers was 93 and TLM was 89. Yeah, so. But, anyways, how the hell is it that Disney was able to predate that? Although it's not quite make my monster grow, but it's more just make myself grow, something like that. And the background is the Palace of Atlantica, which no was not named on screen. Oh my god, what have I gotten myself into? There's going to be no denying this one, Ava. Oh, jeez. Oh, what have I done? God, that's heavy. By the way, for the record, I don't collect action figures, and I also. This is like the only 4 vinyl figures that I have in my collection. No, I take it back. I've got. If you were paying attention back to my days when I was still writing for CollectionDX.com, I I got 2 vinyl figures from to review for CDX, and they were I can't really say cheap, but they were vinyl figures of Rey and Asuka from Evangelion, but they were figures of them as mermaids, but they were both made of vinyl. So like, and I actually still have them. I still have them, although they're hidden in the closet. But like at this point, I'm not going to be able to hide this one. What have I gotten myself into? But anyways, yeah, I don't collect vinyl figures. It's not my genre of toy collecting, or collecting in general, whatever it is. So, oh my goodness. It would be kind of neat if they made a giant Ariel. But on the other hand, oh my gosh, that's a mess. And 8 tentacles confirmed. What are you doing, Funko? She only had 6. So there's the 10-inch or 11-inch version, and wow, her booty is a lot bigger on this version. Just saying. I was talking earlier about how her character design is so well damn well done, but what on earth? Yeah, there's a significant difference here. I think they got a little carried away. This is ridiculous. Good gravy. This is almost a foot. I don't think this is a 10-inch. I thought it was like 10-inch. Maybe it's like 10 and a half or 11-inch. This is almost as big as a Megazord. Let me put it that way. Hell, it is bigger than some Megazords because there were some 9-inch Megazords. So wow. And her tentacles, they actually. Oh no, they didn't. Never mind. It's just a mass of individual pieces. Like each tentacle is a separate piece, and some of them are actually made of multiple pieces just because of the way they curl around. Wow. She's looking. Oh, I see what they're doing. Okay, so it's kind of a case of she's leaning forward. So that's why I just realized it with her character design. That's why she's kind of it's not necessarily that she has a bit it's not necessarily that she's got a huge ass, although she does have a big ass. But it's not quite the it's not quite BBW territory, but it's just a case of the way she's posed here. It looks like she's leaning forward, and as a result of that, her butt seems to be sticking out farther than it actually is. But the reason I say that is because her stomach, she's not centered on her lower torso necessarily. So her stomach is kind of sort of flat. It's kind of the way her torso is a little more flattened, but then on the back it's all curvy and whatnot. Now the way I can tell that is because on the regular pop version, her belly is sticking out, but then her butt is also sticking out. So, but in this case, she's centered. She's got her chest above her pelvis. She's centered normally, but in this case, God, what was I thinking when I bought this? Ava, there's a pop version of this. But anyways, this version, even though it looks like her butt is huge, she's actually her chest, or yeah, I'm sorry, her upper torso is over or is leaning forward over her pelvis. So that's why her butt seems so much larger. Okay. I don't want the SSBBW people to get in and start talking about how PHAT she is. Although, well, she is a bit PHAT. That's why I got it. But that said, this figure is like, whoa. Wow. I don't know if. Yeah, I doubt I'll be able to do it right now. But there's an additional feature with this figure, or maybe it's just a crown. Maybe. Oh, it doesn't say. Or at least, well, it does say on there just to say which one. Hmm. Oh, maybe it's just the trident. I'm not certain. Well, at least they got the part right where she doesn't have her necklace anymore, because at this point she didn't have her necklace. By the way, there's the scale differences right there. This is ridiculous. Oh man. I'm gonna have to answer some questions later on this. And her head tilts a little bit side to side. Oh, anyways, the reason I got this one is because the trident actually glows in the dark. Now, I'm trying to see if it's doing it right now, but I don't think it's been. Yeah, it's not glowing yet. I'm not certain. Something is supposed to glow in here. I thought it was like the trident and maybe her crown are supposed to glow, but I'm not certain anymore. It's weird. When I'm putting the video together, I'll take a look at this tonight because it's like middle of the day right now. So like tonight, when I can turn all the lights off and stuff, I'll check to see if this actually does glow or not. Okay, maybe I should have just stopped with the two Funko Pops at that point. Called it good. Am I gonna get the others from TLM? Nah, I'm not gonna. Nah, nope, not gonna do that. This is as far as I'm going. Am I going to get any other Funko Pops? Time will tell. At this point, I think I'm kind of good. So, okay, God, this is so prominent. What am I gonna do? Oh, buyer's remorse. Okay, that's it for this one. And so with that, this is AV Unit 4A saying thank you for tuning in.